Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So we are back today, and we're specifically talking about uh, basically the most compatible states that have become compatible states thanks to the Democrats doing so bad in this election. And the question is mainly, can we hold the line? Can we keep this up? And what we're trying to ultimately do is we're going to take a look at those five states and the election results, because these five states, no doubt about it, were deep blue states. And we'll be talking about how the possibilities of them becoming swing states. A lot of analysts have already said, oh, they're now swing states now. But I want to see more. I want to see more when it comes to this. These numbers, I do think in New Jersey is definitely very well much in play here. With these numbers here, we got 95% reporting. Could Donald Trump? I would love to see Donald Trump get another percent better. Then maybe, you know what? I could just call it a swing state. But I want to see more in this state. I mean, ideally, Donald Trump should at least get over to the 4% range, because he has Passaic County. He has the counties that Jack Ciattarelli carried in 2020, and ultimately these counties led him to almost victory, leading him being defeated by 2 points by Phil Murphy. So I would expect, you know what, Passaic County, maybe he would get, Donald Trump would be by 4%. But we just have 95% reporting, 51% counted so far. We're going to have to see ultimately how New Jersey continues going on. But we're going to take a look at every state. And keep in mind, we're going to continue doing each state and reviewing each state. But I thought we would be talking about the new compatible states, which are, of course, 5 new states: New Hampshire, New Jersey, Virginia, Minnesota, and New Mexico. And there's something special about these states and each sector in each row. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at New Hampshire first. So New Hampshire, obviously, it seems Donald Trump's is kind of going down a little bit, and the count's already over. I guess they just updated it. But yes, you'll see Kamala Harris won, but obviously she underperformed massively in this state, which, you know what? Donald Trump almost won this state in 2016, but after Joe Biden won this state in 2020, a lot of Republicans went out and said, you know what, this state, is pretty much done. A lot of Republicans said it's still winnable because of the low tax interests, the gun rights interests in that state. But then again, people go in and out. And the conservatives, there's no much. Sure, they could flee to Florida or something like that because of the tyrannical government. I mean, they have a governor, Chris Sununu. He's fine. I mean, he's a rhino. He's an establishment pond. I get that. I understand that. But then again, you have the legislature, which is kind of mixed. But the point is, yeah, New Hampshire is an okay state for the most part, but you got new people coming in. And these new people, they come in via border areas. So like Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, they basically go in and encroach New Jersey, New Hampshire, in all sides. So obviously this is a good performance for Joe Biden, and it's the same performance that was made 2 years later by Maggie Hassan in the United States Senate election. That said year. Ultimately, what ended up happening was, she performed the same margin, 53 to 44. I think it was a little bit better, though, here. She had I want to believe she carried more municipalities. But then again, like I've said in my New Hampshire video, New Hampshireites have a limit to the when it comes to voting Democratic. First off, you cannot be an authoritarian. Joe Biden, for the most part, didn't run on an authoritarian platform. He ran as a second option, or he ran as a solution compared to Trump in 2020. That's what New Hampshireites felt for, because a lot of New Hampshireites did not like Donald Trump. They didn't like him. And as a result, they fled away from of course, they went into more from Republicans and dived in more for Democrats in 2020. But now that Joe Biden's out of the picture, Kamala Harris enters in, it's a new story because Kamala Harris does not represent that solution. Then again, she represents the problem, right? Because the problem is the Biden-Harris administration, the problems that have arose due to the said problematic problems in the said country as a result. So, yeah, that's when it comes to that, a solution here. When it comes to that, Kamala Harris was that solution. Wasn't the solution. She was the problem. Then again, New Hampshireites, they've been more said tossed up. But if this was 2016, no doubt about it, Donald Trump would have won because Hillary Clinton was an option. Donald Trump was an unrealistic option. Because Donald Trump was an unrealistic option, which many New Hampshireites didn't think he would win, Hillary Clinton won. But they underestimated Donald Trump by a lot. Go to 2024, 8 years later, politics in New Hampshire changes, okay? Now, if it was 2016, there's no doubt about it in my mind, Donald Trump would successfully win New Hampshire. But unfortunately, with Vermontians and Massachusetts and people of Massachusetts, woke people from Massachusetts and Vermont coming in on all sides, their values are going to entrench into New Hampshire, and that is no doubt why, probably why Kamala Harris won the state by 3 points. Ideally, a best performance for Kamala Harris, if it was 2016, would be barely a point. But but it's 2024 and people are going in and out. That, of course, this is completely normal. Ideology in states changed. New Hampshire is still a low tax loving, gun right loving state. That hasn't changed. But you'll see, we just got a bit of radical Vermont politics and Massachusetts politics entrenching the state. And that, as a result, is what led to, of course, New Hampshire becoming more liberal. But does it mean it's still in play? We can. It's up to Sununu, though, to drive those liberals out. Pass more conservative laws that are in favor for those Massachusettsans, those New Hampshireites that want gun rights and low taxes. Be more conservative, of course, and be direct and firm. And if it makes the woke people of Vermont and of New Hampshire cry, let them cry. They can go to neighboring Vermont. They'll clap their cheeks over there. So that's an important thing to know. But let's take a look at the next state on our list, and that is going to be the state of New Jersey, which massively underperformed. Kamala Harris massively underperformed in this state, and I would say she might lose this state she might carry it by 4 percentage points. That's what it's kind of looking like right now. The state is not done counting. They still have a lot to go for. But the last time New Hampshire voted Republican in or voted Democrat in a tilting margin was in 1992, where, of course, George H.W. Bush lost the state by 2 points to Bill Clinton. So now it's back in play. And when you take a look at the gubernatorial race, yeah, it changed. There's question in regards to this map. There's absolute question. Because when it comes to this map here, you got this county here and the county below it, 60% for Democrats. And you got one county right here that's 70%. How is President Trump not getting to 4 percentage points? How is that not happening? How is that not happening? Okay? It's ironic. I mean, the margin is pretty big. 4-point win for the most part. Or it might be a 5-point win. But you would think Passaic County would give Trump tons of more, give him more of the ability to get it down to 4 points. And I think, honestly, 3.2. 3.22, and ideally it should be 2-point win for Kamala Harris at this point. It's just ridiculous. But then again, we have a 90% coming in. It's going to get more slower, but we still have like 9% remaining. Donald Trump could possibly catch up pretty well and pretty easily. So we just have to wait. But yeah, Passaic County is crazy because this county voted so much for Joe Biden in 2020. It did it by so much. Okay, looking in here. Passaic, 57%. It's a landslide. And you're telling me it's going to Trump? Well, let's be honest. Look at these numbers. Passaic is shifting radically to the right. We got all this county. I don't know if it's Bergen County. Let's go ahead and see. I think that's Essex County. No, that's not Essex. Pardon me. No, I don't think that's... Is it Mercer? No, Mercer's over there. Hudson County. Yeah, Hudson's right there. Hudson County is shifting more right. Well, you got, of course, what that county's called, Essex, and Mercer, well, Essex County specifically, that county right here, they're shifting more right. Obviously, Atlantic and Cumberland County has joined the Republican Party, but that didn't change the fact that Passaic and Hudson counties, they're moving at a faster pace for Republicans. So, obviously, that is what the case is. So, that's what it's looking like right now. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, that's Passaic here. Just I'm getting lost here. Pardon me. Yes, we're going to move on, and that is pretty much concluding New Jersey. Let's take a look at Minnesota. Tampon Tim State. So Tampon Tim did extraordinarily really bad. I mean, really, really bad. I mean, he was supposed to give Kamala Harris a leaning victory. He couldn't even do that. This state went to Kamala Harris by 4 points. That is bad. You come from Minnesota. You campaigned as this Mankato cabin fishing loving people person. And that resulted to your home base, Mankato and Blue Earth, Nicollet counties, and the counties around that surrounding you and supporting you in your congressional run. Nicollet and Blue Earth counties staunchly backed Tim Walz. But during the vice presidential run, when it comes to the vice presidential and presidential race, being Harris's running mate, he just completely loses it. He loses it. Absolutely loses it. And as a result, he comes home with that horrible unpopularity rating. I don't know if his approval rating's good. Let's see, how many Minnesotans approve of Tampon Tim? Approval rating, Minnesota. Okay. Approval holds steady. This is 2024. Obviously, has narrow edge in favorability. So this guy was supposedly more popular than J.D. Vance. And J.D. Vance went in and just destroyed Kamala, just destroyed Tim Walz in the debate. This guy is a fumbling liar. And of course Minnesotans are going to continue to uplift this guy. Like you'll see the Minnesota polls, you say voters split on opinion of Governor Tim Walz. So he's already becoming a controversial figure in Minnesota. Now he's defeated. I have not seen any poll. You'll see right here. Yeah, this is handling of protests and riots. Obviously, 52%. Obviously, it should be higher, but it's Minnesota. It's Minnesota. So, same results, but margins do matter. And when I mean same results, I mean the state auditor results. Okay? The state auditor's race, very important race. Okay? Very important race. It was like a 0.3 win, and as a result, margins do matter. That was because Hennepin and Ramsey counties, they were swaying in for, as you know, the said attorney, the, of course, state auditor, Julia Blaha. It was 60% for her. Okay? Now, there's a reason why the same results are very different margin-wise, and that's because Kamala Harris really did very well in the Twin Cities. 70% in both Hennepin and Ramsey counties. There's a reason for that. That's probably the reason. It didn't matter if Donald Trump improved his records in Coochin County. It didn't matter if he did better than Mr. Wilson in Kitson County. It didn't matter if Donald Trump did better in Rice County compared to Mr. Wilson. That didn't matter. All that is focused in these two little counties, Hennepin and Ramsey, and as long as these two counties go up 70% for Dems, Republicans will lose. That's why Republicans need to campaign hard in Hennepin and Ramsey County. And this is supposedly bad news. You might say this is very uplifting. But I'm telling you right now, it should be uplifting to many of you all. Because if you focus on Hennepin and Ramsey and focus and campaign there, slam it hard. Slam it hard. When you slam those counties hard, you're putting a dent. You're making an impact in those counties. And those counties are, the turnout in those counties are needed in order for Democrats to win. While previous races, presidential races, you'll see Hillary Clinton carried it by 60%, still won barely. She did worse than Kamala Harris in this state. But then again, it was the Minneapolis-St. Paul metropolitan turnout. Let's go ahead and take a look at a better example, 2004. Republicans lost this election barely. George Bush could have picked it up easily. But however, we had Coochin, Itasca, Beltrami, even Swift counties in the corner here, these white evangelical county farming communities, they were still in for Democrats. They still believed that Democrats would help them when it comes to advantages with farming. And as a result, what ends up happening? Bush loses. There's no doubt in my mind if Bush ended up carrying what Donald Trump carried in 2024, Bush would carry the state easily because you have Hennepin County going into the 50% range. And worse, also Ramsey County, not much of an impact, but going down into the 60% range. That's all it needs. That's all you need. And With that being said, Republicans lost this race barely. If we could have pushed Hennepin County and Ramsey County a point more into the 60%, and it is in the 60%, but this is what I'm talking about. If we could push it 1% more, Ryan Wilson would have been auditor, the auditor of Minnesota, no doubt about it. Period. That's all it took. But then again, that's something that a lot of people keep, because they think, campaign in the swing counties like Blue Earth County, and Rice County, Carlton County, and Nicollet County, and Winona County, and Clay County, and Lake County. No. Those counties are barely populated, by the way. Barely populated. You need a campaign in places that are populated. 60% of the state, of people in the state, live over here. So why are you campaigning over here? This is why Minnesota Republicans lose, because they think it's like the presidential race where you campaign in swing areas. No, this is not an electoral winner takes all system. This is the real deal. This is absolutely the real deal, where you have to campaign in the enemy territory. You got to campaign in the Lion's Den, Hennepin and Ramsey counties, and even Olmsted County, which has Rochester, 100,000 people in that city. Campaign there. It used to be a Republican stronghold, and if we could get Olmsted County back into the numbers it used to be, Republicans would win all the time. We wouldn't necessarily, like Hennepin County would have gone up to 70%. It would have been close. But you get what I'm saying. But that includes pretty much Minnesota. Finally, we're going to go ahead and wrap up our video, specifically in regards to the state of New Mexico. Now, New Mexico is Dunn County. We failed to get up down to the below 5%. That's fine. However, let's see how much Hillary Clinton won. A 6-point margin. So if we shifted it 2 points to the left, yeah, you could say efficiently New Mexico's more liberal than New Jersey. So yeah, you got those states very tossed up. But yeah, you got likely, solid, safe, and yes, you get what I'm seeing here. The polls were actually saying it was going to be very tight. It ended up being tight. Why was it tight? Comparing the map from 4 years ago, yeah, you'll see Hispanic communities. Very blue here, dark blue. Comparing to this year's election, they're more lighter now. We don't necessarily have to win them. But look at this county right here. Where's Albuquerque? Albuquerque's right here. I keep thinking it's right here, but Albuquerque, right here. Sure, it's still 70% for Dems. But then again, we got to remember this state has how many electoral votes? 5 electoral votes. That means there's not much people there. Albuquerque is the center line of where the population is. I suggest campaigning there. Sure. We flip this county right here. It has this big Spanish name, and we can find that out. New Mexico counties. That county is Socorro County. 50 to 4% lead. Huge shift to the right. While 2020, it was respectively pretty liberal. Same deal here. 2012, it voted in a landslide for Obama. Very liberal. But yes, you get what I'm saying. But yes, you'll see there's the populations right here. Harding. I think this is the smallest. Harding is the smallest city. The smallest county. It only has 657 people. I want to believe it's a Democrat county. No, it's a Republican county. So we win this county. So what? I mean, every vote counts. Bernalillo County, which is right here. Oh, that's where Albuquerque is. Never mind. This is impactful. Now the coins have changed. The reason why it was so close, take a look at Bernalillo County right here. 60% for Joe Biden. Now it's going 50%. In the 50% range. That is huge. Huge. I mean, yeah, just a little shift here. 61% for Joe Biden, 59%. And you already have the state of New Mexico teetering to the right. Teetering. So, pretty ironic. So, obviously, Hispanic voters are key. And all you guys are going, oh, Hispanic voters didn't go enough. I think, yeah, sure. I think, you know what? It's going to take time for these minority groups to come over. It doesn't happen in one election cycle. But they have come, they have come extremely, extremely close to coming back all together in this election. You can clearly see Texas. You can clearly see New Mexico. Colorado is You could blame Denver. You can see Florida. But Hispanic voters made an impact. And all these Republicans that say, with all these Republicans that are basically saying that, and I'm blundering again because I'm getting distracted, that Trump can't win, that MAGA can't win, that the establishment has to come back. They're wrong. Clearly, MAGA received its biggest victory ever. Biggest. It received its biggest victory. So they can kick and scream whatever they want. And now we have our last state, and that is specifically going to be the state of Virginia. And Virginia, yeah, we actually expected this state to be much more bigger and better when it comes to being in play. But ultimately, this state is in favor for Kamala Harris. We knew that Donald Trump lost the state by close to, I would say, a blowout would be more appropriate. A landslide, sure. He lost by a landslide by 10.11, 10.11 to be exact. It's quite obvious when you know how to work with numbers. But looking at this said map and comparing it with the state results, you could clearly see there is some difference. Now, whoops, this is the current, shoot. But yeah, you'll see it's no longer darker blue. You have Loudoun County, I want to believe it's this Loudoun County. That's more, it went for Kamala Harris, but it didn't go for her as much as she needed to do to perform in order to perform in a best performance. Okay, look at this. You got more solid red states going in when it comes to this. Okay, lighter, you got the color here being lighter white. That's Stanford County, and I was surprised with Stanford County. It went to Biden by, I would say, it went less than 5 points. And apparently Kamala Harris still held on there. That could be probably the reason why she ultimately won in the state of Virginia. So Stanford County, Virginia. So obviously, like this county right here, very important. Then you got a blue city right here, of course. I want to believe Yes, that's Fredericksburg. Smack right there. That's a blue city. It's a Democrat voting city. 64% Democrat. It went down 2 points, but population wise, it's not that populated. 27,000 people. So, I mean, it's consolidated. The consolidated cities trick you. They make you think it's populated. It's really not here. So, yeah, I mean, Stanford dipped back down. You'll see Donald Trump made some improvement in Stanford County, but he did not do what we hoped he would do and what Youngkin did in 2021. And ultimately, that's what led to him losing that election. He won Surry County. Surry County was a big win for him, in my opinion. He won Surry, but if he won Virginia Beach, and if he won this county right here, it used to be a very big Republican stronghold. Not anymore. It went more Democrat lately. We would have won this election. We actually would have won Virginia. But unfortunately, for sure, if we would have carried Virginia Beach, Kamala Harris wouldn't be winning the state by 5 points. It's unfortunately not going to go. The counting's over. It's stuck at 5 percentage points. But, we have this Virginia governor's race. Very important, by the way. We'll be touching base on that next year. Very important Virginia governor's race coming up next year. And we'll be talking about that. Learning from, Virginia is kind of at play. It's technically in that range. Problem is, you just have the woke woman. The Gen Z woman really did make it difficult for Harris to win, to be honest. I mean, for Trump to win, excuse me. The Gen Z woman made it very difficult for Trump to win the state. Made it very difficult. And maybe if it was Joe Biden, Donald Trump would have won Virginia. Who knows? Or if it would have went for him barely. But honestly, what it's looking like right now, for Donald Trump at least, it wasn't that bad. Comparing to his 2016 defeat, I mean, it was kind of closer. 5.32% compared to Harris, winning the state by 5.76. So actually, 2016 was a better margin for Harris, and not to mention 2016 better demographics favor for Republicans there back compared to today. Like 2012, Romney barely lost Virginia. I mean, it was so close to going to Obama by a 5-point margin. Wait, or am I wrong? Because Obama won the state by 6.30%. That's interesting. Oh, yeah, no, that was in 2008, excuse me. 3.88%. But, yeah, this is what it's looking like. But no doubt about it, if Donald Trump would have done better in this county, he didn't have to win it. I think he did his best in that county, if you will. He did pretty good. That we could have probably ended up winning this county, this whole entire state, which would have boosted morale. But that's Chesterfield County right here. Huge Republican stronghold. Turn Republican, but can turn Democrat. But can we take it back? I think we can. It is definitely possible. Yeah, it shifted Democrat big time. Actually, Kamala Harris improved in that county by 1 point, which does voice volume that, yeah, this county's going left. That can be thanks to Richfield, because it's smack right there, right next to Chesterfield County. And that used to be a part of the biggest conservative suburbs of Chesterfield County. But then again, you could go ahead and say, oh, it's the suburban woman. You would think that 21% of the African-American vote, maybe a lot of them, same result, came out and voted en masse for Kamala Harris. But that didn't seem to matter. I'm guessing it had to be the suburban woman that had taken Chesterfield County, Virginia Beach, consolidated city. It looks like a county, but it's actually a consolidated city, a city county, if you will. But yes, you'll see 50%. Yeah, you'll see Donald Trump managed to pull the edge on this said county. Kamala Harris won it by 3 points. But yeah, Chesterfield definitely was her best performance out of the swing counties, which was really, in my opinion, wasn't a swing county anymore. There's also this county right here, James City County. That's more left now. But anyway, what do you guys think about our analysis? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.